It's me, Zenobia Darling. You're listening to #RockstarLife, the Coffee Break Podcast. Let's go. Where the hell's my cold brew at?
Ain't nobody dope as me. I'm just so fresh and so clean. Don't you think I'm so sexy? I'm just so fresh.
I got that recorded.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's a hit, man. I wrote it myself.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's get my life together.
Hey, good luck.
God, what a fun Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday Funday.
Sunday Funday. Okay, let's go. Let me get it. Where's my vape? Sorry, I'm like feeling really clear.
Yeah, man.
I'm just like, that movie revved me up.
It was the movie.
Cleared my mind.
It was definitely the movie.
Cleared my mind.
Certainly.
Ooh. Okay. All right, guys. What's up? It's me, Zenobia Darling. It is a chill Sunday here in Havre de Grace, Maryland. I'm in my new place, and I'm joined by the one, the only Davey Calico.
What's up? No more of this amateurs. You're bringing Davey Calico himself on.
It's been
Thank you.
about a year since I had you on the podcast. So last time you were on, we made a trip to Gettysburg,
That's
Pennsylvania, to check out some ghosts and the battlefield.
Yeah.
And I made you watch Vanderpump Rules.
That's true.
So, and it's my highest rated episode to date. How that is, I still have no idea.
I know, man. These people need something better to do.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm sorry.
Well,
no, your audience is so cool.
You're such a bitch. You're such a
I'm
bitch.
such a petty little bitch.
Yep. But I mean, I think we know why I had so many listeners from someone that shall remain nameless.
My ex-wife was. Yeah. Hey, did I tell you that some strange girl messaged me out of nowhere on Facebook asking me if I knew her? She sent me like semi-naked photos of herself and asked me if I could hook her up with my ex-wife, and she sent me photos of them together. I can show you the conversation. And I was like, I would advise you not to hang out with that woman. She's done some really dirty dirt to me. I don't know what happened. It wasn't like it seemed so weird.
Like, that's nuts though. That really is nuts. Like, what is she? Was she thinks you're like, what, Patty Stranger from like Millionaire Matchmaker? Let's hook you up with my ex.
I know.
You have not talked to that woman in how long?
She pretended like she pretended that she told me she knew I knew. Oh, golly!
I got a bleep button. Button.
She who shall. She said she knew she who shall not be named. And she spelled her name wrong. And I was like, dude, how do you know that? She's like, we're friends on Facebook. I was like, we blocked each other. We are not in contact. But,
ooh.
No. Hey.
But why would she message you though?
I don't know. I've never met this girl.
I mean, did you try to pick her up?
No.
I mean, if she's looking for her, I think I definitely think you don't need to hit that.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
All right, so keep it in the same vein as Gettysburg.
Okay.
I made you watch probably one of the greatest movies ever made. We are in Baltimore. I know that I've taken you out and you've seen Baltimore Drag. So I made you watch Female Troubles by John Waters, a 1974 classic. I'm telling you, everyone talks about Hairspray and Serial Mom and Pink Flamingos. Female Trouble is John Waters' best movie. It has Divine as Dawn Davenport, a queen. So I made you watch it. So how'd you feel about it?
Well, you're jumping ahead a little bit. What actually happened was, I guess this is about 2 weeks ago, I had you watch Alejandro Jodorowsky's Holy Mountain, which is an art flick from that same time period, early 70s. And what I enjoyed, and I think what you connected to, was sort of like the different layers of meaning in it, and sort of the more focus on, I guess, the experience and less adrenaline-based cinematography.
Hold on.
What? Am I not saying
did you
anything
just,
you
did you just hear that?
Or was it a ghost?
I knew he would show up.
Oh,
I knew he would. He
looking
does that.
He's so fabulous.
I knew Joe would show up.
I love that picture of him.
Yeah, because I just heard like a weird interference. I'll leave this in, but
cool.
Yeah, so we had to watch El Toro. No,
it was Holy Mountain.
Holy Mountain. Yeah. Holy shit, that's a good movie.
Yeah, man. I mean, this one was really good too. But they definitely are both the kinds of edge pushing movies that you just gotta sit there and be like, holy fuck, what did I just watch? You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, so then you're like, all right, I got to get you to watch this, And then I came up here, even though I grew up in Baltimore City and around Baltimore all my life, never having seen John Waters. So I watched it with you. And it pushed some edges for sure,
Do you see how modern of a movie that is?
Yeah. Very, very social media.
Yep.
Very like female egocentric.
It was queer as fuck.
Very queer as fuck. Absolutely.
Very punk.
Yeah, for sure. And also like a bunch of people who think they know everything, but are actually all full of shit, just like we all are.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's so good.
So before we really
hard to watch at times.
I love it though. I love it. So before we get into like female trouble, let's give the audience a life update.
Oh yeah.
So what are you up to lately?
Well, I mean, I am living a very blessed life. I'm super grateful. I moved into a house in Bel Air, a 2-story townhouse, and
it's not a town; it's a single family.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
I was like,
it's quite a big. Yeah, okay, it's huge. And my friends, Derek's certainly been one of them, have helped me paint and clear out and decorate and make the space into a meaningful space that really like aligned with my vision, but incorporated some of like other, like, Micah's organizational artistic qualities, some of your, rock star flair, some of Steven's ability to access technologies. And it's still developing, and that's been huge, and I'm also looking to launch that breath I take is real weird.
I'm trying to adjust the audio levels.
Yeah,
it's
I can find it. Here, let me try and move it down. I'm gonna try and breathe
and
less
hold
hard
it
to my
like
nose.
here.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
And when you breathe, just kind of.
Yeah.
But I feel like I sound tinny, right?
Tinny.
I'm debating if we should just set up there and just use the stands.
This is good.
But I like
this.
I like sitting down comfortable like this.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm leaving this in.
But
tech issues.
Good.
You can thank
what
it
was
goes
the fucking question though?
A life update.
Yeah. So I'm looking to really start a Davey Calico brand with this new space, and with that Davey Calico brand, I'm going to have several different income streams, interests underneath that as an umbrella, which include first and foremost probably family flow, integrating mindful movement into the lives of children and family members together so that we make health more accessible and play more accessible and mindfulness more accessible and connection with family and friends. And we do that by a lot of the play acting movements in my mindfulness program. Family flow.
Well, we all know you've been on a yoga journey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
but
that's true.
You started adding qigong into it, and you've been doing qigong with me. That's, I'm a monkey. I'm picking the banana.
Yeah. Well, I love that you describe it that way and that you see it that way. I want to stay away a little bit from the phrase yoga because we exist in a very yoga-fied Western culture, where people think of yoga as the pure asana practice. When I think of myself as, following a path of yoga, I think of it in the Sanskrit way of yoking together and really integrating the different aspects of my life into a seamless transmission that I can express. And, in a large way, Davey Calico is that. And
Davey Calico is your drag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Persona.
Absolutely. My rock star drag persona. Yeah. And so incorporating mindful movement into that will be beneficial, whether we call it yoga or something else. And because I've really enjoyed my dive into traditional Chinese medicine, I've also had insights into meridian theory and acupressure. And
alchemy,
yeah, the transmutation of different layers of energy to increase our ability to stay present with ourselves, with other people, it's become such a passion. You know, at the beginning of the summer, I told you I'm going to be taking a 3-week vacation down to Asheville to study with Michael Wynn.
I love Asheville.
Yeah, and Michael Wynn is a world-renowned Taoist alchemist, and
I'll tag him in this.
yeah, I hope so. You know, I've never met him yet, but I'm looking forward to spending 3 weeks down there.
And you're gonna love Asheville. It's a cool vibe.
Yeah. No,
It's got a little bit of an Appalachian vibe, but like it's pretty cool.
I'm excited for sure.
So
and then whoa, don't rise, because then the other things under the Davey Calico umbrella, there's going to be some meditation and alchemy included in that, and then there's also going to be some men's work, because you know as well as anybody else, but the healing of men and our psyches, you know, and our bodies is a huge step. I think that I want to put my hat into that ring.
And like, I don't know, it's interesting because I definitely think a lot of men need work.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think because we live in a patriarchal society, I think there is a lot of like bullshit out there, but also not all men are bad.
Yeah, even that sounds funny. Not all men.
Yeah,
you know, honestly, a lot of the most toxic masculine people I encounter
are lesbians.
Lesbians, women, men too. But also, anytime we're in power structures, you know, and I experienced this in my professional life, which I don't want to talk too much about. But people who think they're above me because they system manage more efficiently than I do.
Yeah.
You know, like they're feeding the state the information the state wants to hear, so that must mean they're better at what they do. When it's like, wow, have we lost sight of what's actually happening? And so, yeah, you know, unpacking some of those ideas about what it means to organize people from the masculine directive direction and from the feminine receptive direction. And from, you know, and that's just energetics, not actually gender, because then we also have the very 21st century issue that we saw in the video, you know, of queerness, and where does queerness fit into this polarity?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, since you've been around a lot of us, a lot of us gays. I mean, do you see where like we have a lot of the stuff figured out?
Yeah, I think,
and like the way we come about sex is a little bit different, and like just it's a lot more open, I would say, and like also there's like a huge demonization against masculinity and just being a dude.
Yeah, man.
I could get canceled if I talk too much about this.
And I just don't like that.
Yeah, fucking right, man.
Because I'm real. Like, I think women should be as their best selves, so should men.
Yeah, you know, and as we talk about healthy masculinity and what it means to be conscious and present, we also get to talk about healthy femininity and what it means to be receptive, you know, and nurturing. And how are we embodying these qualities, and can we embody them all as individuals and then also in relation to one another?
Yeah.
You know, and is there space for us to flow between these polarities? And the answer to all this is yes, we can.
And like the thing is,
queerness, and honestly, the queerness is so fucking cool because it starts more from a place of loving the self first. You know, whether it's a gay man or a gay woman or a non-binary person loving themselves, that's fucking punk. You know, that's fucking spiritual.
Yeah. And
so
like
yeah,
also,
you guys got to figure it out.
All humans have the spectrum, and they have both feminine and masculine in them.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, you know,
yeah.
And a lot of men have that femininity.
I know, and
shut
off. I know, and the gayest thing of all for men is when they get scared of gayness. You know what I mean? Like, wow, so weird, man.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's a lot of I mean, we've seen my men's work.
You guys can imagine what that's about.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, to be honest. I've heard tale. No, actually, okay. Bleep,
redacted. All right, we're editing that out. No, we're keeping it in, but we're editing. I'll cleverly edit around it.
That's good.
Okay, so you actually just came from teaching a yoga class.
Yeah. So
I'm a huge yoga person.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, so, you know, one of the cool things about me, because I'm certified to teach Kundalini yoga in Rishikesh, so I'm not really talking about the purity of the postures themselves, but the movement of energy through the body.
And that's translated to the Chinese traditional medicine, because what I taught today was actually Dao Yin. Dao Yin is like a parent of both yoga and qigong.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was Joe. Hey Joe, man, that's ready to talk about Dao Yin with me.
I was waiting for him to come in.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's the second time.
And so Dao Yin is sort of flowing movements with a lot of very yoga postures. And so because we're alternating between gentle flowing movements and periods of stillness, what we're doing is we're using polarity even within the practice to increase growth. So stretching and moving at the same time really brings benefits.
As you just demonstrated it. I love it.
I wish that people could see me. I always wish that people could see me.
Well, I mean, I think you should start like incorporating some of that yoga stuff on your Instagram. Davey Calico on Instagram.
Yeah.
Everyone should follow him.
Yeah, I've got a couple of videos up already, just a couple ones. One about a lot of releasing, pulling down the heavens and calming the mind. And I think the other one is the tiger posture, about like releasing stuff that stresses us out.
Good.
Yeah, because as we move more deeply into the 21st century, one thing that's become abundantly clear is people get to take more responsibility for our feelings all the time.
That's something people don't do. They don't take responsibility for their feelings.
You didn't make me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
I felt a way, and it's my responsibility to put up a boundary to process my own feelings, in a way that doesn't hurt me or others, in a fluid, dynamic thing. And so a lot of these tools, although they seem so mystical and ancient, we can transmute them, transport them, transgender them into modern world, and use them to process some of the chronic stresses that people are always under, because the chronic stresses aren't going to leave us. Taxes are coming.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's it.
You got to pay the mortgage.
Yeah,
you got to pay the rent. You gotta pay your car note.
So and so said such and such. It's not getting any less cluttered. So how do we declutter the mind?
How is this? Because you're pretty good at you're on Facebook, but I've convinced you now. Get back on social media.
It's true.
Get back into the world.
Davey Calico.
Yeah. What has that been like? Because I've given you a lot of guidelines about how to do social media, and especially going into this next chapter.
Yeah.
You're going to have to use social media a lot.
So earlier in my life, I used social media sort of as a town square, just going out, blah, blah, blah. This is what I think. You know what I mean? My yoga is better than your yoga.
Did you guys pick chicks up?
I haven't done internet dating in a while, but
it's a shit show. Don't.
Yeah. But back in the day, I did some serial online dating.
Was it dating, or was it hooking up?
I'm always I'm a person who uses my hearts really when I date, so I don't really separate them ever intentionally.
You could never go on Grindr then.
No, I certainly you won't find me on that one.
It's called a dating app, but it's not. You go in there to hook up and get drinks. Which I mean, I don't think you have a problem with, but when we were in South Africa, we all wanted weed. Me and Jamal went on Grindr and found it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then went to go pick it up at this sketchy place. Ooh, but no, what is the social media this transition back into been like?
I'm transforming my mind from a place of a town square blobbity blobbity to a marketplace. This is who I am. This is what I do. In my free time, this is how I live. And if you want insight into that, and if you want guidance, and if you want some sort of instruction or coaching, I don't even like to use that word, but I'm honored to help support that and facilitate that. And I'm still starting to, lay the foundation for what will be the backbone of my social media. Yeah. Instagram, though, I've had fun kind of trying to find color themes, and pink and blue have been really good colors.
That is true.
For my David
the yin and yang.
Yeah, the yin and yang of pink and blue.
But also, because I've told you this, with social media, it's a fucking reality show.
Yeah, for sure.
And you are the aspirational you're the fucking rock star that everyone wants to be.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I've always the minute I met you, I was you have that rock star quality. And I feel like I'm like getting it out of you.
You met me in I had made it through the darkest spot. Like the sun was literally just starting to break over the horizon in my life.
And then all last year you saw me go through a dark night of the soul.
That's true. Yeah.
But
the ninjas came.
Well, they just left. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, you did.
So talk about the ninjas.
Well, okay. I would love to talk about
because that's some Davey
ninjas.
Calico mythology.
Yeah, it sure is. So I'm going to go back before the ninjas existed, but about 12 years ago, I had what I would describe as like a brief Kundalini awakening. I was off for the summer, and I just rode my bike around town. I would meditate. I just gone vegetarian. And so it was something, my life was very simple.
You weren't vegan yet?
No, I wasn't vegan. This is about 11 or 12 years ago then. Okay. Because I've been vegan now for 10. But
and I made a big pot of vegan chili for you.
So good. Yeah. So good. So I really did a lot of work, a lot of deep work. And I began to feel what I would now call sort of the energy meridians of my body opening up. And I could feel sort of a flower blossoming through my body with every breath. And it was so beautiful. And I met this girl who I fell in love with. She lived in Pittsburgh, and I had all these beautiful experiences. I was like, wow, this is destiny. I'm God. I should probably foreclose my house and quit my job and go be God. And I did that. But at the time, I didn't have the infrastructure in my spiritual body, in my life to sustain that kind of level of awareness. And so it faded away, after about 4 or 5 months, and it was sort of like this ghost that eluded me. Sort of like my if anyone out there follows Grail mythology on your podcast,
we're all big. Paranormal mythology is number one, but all mythology.
Yeah. So, in the myth of the Holy Grail and fish Percival, he's chasing down the Holy Grail and he comes to the castle and he sees it and he almost gets it. Yeah, he almost gets it, but he fails the first time and he gets thrown out. And so that was my first experience. And then about 3 years ago, this is still about the ninjas, by the way. So about 3 years ago, I started to go through a divorce. And I dove deep into my spirituality again. And then a bunch of other shit happened. Blah, blah, blah. I don't need to go through all the horrible, horrible things, but they were horrible.
It was rough there.
Yeah,
it was really rough.
Yeah, I was on several people's suicide watch lists.
Yeah.
And there was just something that happened where I was like, okay, this is it. And I need to be responsible for every thought I think, every word I say, every time I listen to somebody. And something sort of fused together there. And that was around the time I started to meet you in February. It felt like the sun was peeking out. And I was like, oh, like I can manage this.
Because we met, it was at McGregor's at Linnea's birthday party.
Absolutely. It was really beautiful. And so at that time, I was very superstitious about what I would, at the time I knew it as Kundalini energy. I was very superstitious because I'd had an awakening and then a crash, and that was really traumatic, to feel like you touch it and then you lose it. And so I was very paranoid. I was very paranoid about it. I would meditate every day. I still meditate almost every single day, do body work every single day. I still do it almost every single day. And I started being very careful about the thoughts I think and the things I do. And part of it was very fear-based. But as I went deeper into the work, I encountered other streams of thinking besides just the Kundalini model, or even the Christian second coming model, one of which was through ninjutsu. And I read this book, Diary, I think it's Diary of an American Ninja. And it's about this guy who did some of the Eastern practices known as mixing Kan and Li. And how that was sort of an intentional cultivation of the inner system to evolve the nervous system, to kind of upgrade the software, to live more happy and healthy. And he described some of the stuff as ninjas, but he also included this really sad tale. The guy who started ninja, I think this is Ryu Ninjutsu, I'm not super familiar, but it was about how he lost a war, and his job as the loser of the war was seppuku, ritual suicide. So he was supposed to kill himself. But if he did that, his family up the mountain would be
destroyed.
Fucked.
Yeah. But if he doesn't kill himself, then he's going to live in shame.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs up the mountains. He warns people, and then he has to disappear, live in shame. And so this guy, he takes all of his trainings and like all of his culture and sort of pulls it inwards into his practice, into his meditation lifestyle practice. And I begin to get this sense of like the true spirit of ninjutsu, which is not assassination, which is not even victory over anything else. It's a victory over the inner self. And, this phenomena of ninjas as these unknown beings coming to liberate our attachments, literally coming to free us of what we think we are so that we can be something bigger. And then I guess this is about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. You sent me a naked photo while I was at work. Do you remember that?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And I was ticked off, I was like, and I didn't talk to you for like a couple weeks. But then I called you up late one night, and I was like, do not ever fucking send me a naked picture while I work again, or I will call my ninjas and they will take everything from you, your home, your job. And it was like playful, but it also, I think I also knew what I was saying, which is if you continue on my path, if you continue doing this work with me, your life's going to change. And you'll never be a ninja in the same way that I'll never be a ninja. We're confined to our ego bodies, But
also, like, I feel like it was because like I'm really used to boundaries, and like I think that was also a good way for like, ooh,
yeah,
too big of a hit.
Yeah, no, that was tea.
But no, it was a good exercise in boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like you really you expressed the boundaries, and it was one of those things where it was like noted.
Yeah. You were like,
I still send you naked pictures, just not when you're on the clock.
Exactly. Yeah, like pay attention to the direction. Like nothing extra is meant. Like I meant what I said, and you respected what I said.
But it also wasn't like nasty. It was like you were just, but you also we're very playful with each other.
It's true. And so then this idea of ninjas as Kundalini energy, as the Kundalini energy clearing out the spinal chambers, awakening the body, that started to develop between me and you. And that tied into when I started getting into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles end game, where there's only the last Ronin, where there's only one turtle left, and he's dealing with all the ghosts of his family, and he's trying to fight Shredder, and he's going through the existential.
I'm Michelangelo.
Are you?
No, you're Michelangelo. No,
I don't think so.
Which one am I? I remember I was someone.
I don't know who I am anymore, man.
No, I was Leonardo.
You're Leonardo. You're not Leonardo.
Well, who's the California one?
That's Michelangelo.
Yeah, Michelangelo. That's it.
Yeah, I might be Leo, to be honest.
I can see you being Leo.
Yeah, that's cringy as fuck to say aloud, but
I mean, it's a pop. We talk about pop culture.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know, but Leo's not the cool turtle. You know what I mean? Like Raphael or Michelangelo are the cool turtles.
He's cool in his own way.
Yeah, guys, let's go. Come on, team, assemble. Cowabunga.
No, because you remember you telling me about the ninjas, and then you told me the story. And I remember you told the story of the ninjas on the last podcast.
Did I?
You were on. I think you mentioned ninjas. Well, remember the summer? It was like right after we reconnected after last spring, because we both were going through some stuff.
Yeah.
And we kind of separated a little bit. True. And then we got back together. And I remember saying, like, I think the fucking ninjas are here.
Yeah. You were very aware of it,
Yeah, because also, like, I know we're both witches.
That's true.
But like, I'm more into the paranormal stuff.
That's true. And I've studied a lot more of the inner workings, the tantra. Yeah.
Whereas like, I'm more of the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm aware when there's other energies around me.
Yeah.
And I knew the ninjas come.
Yeah, and I'm not as aware of that.
Because the ninjas came, they've been here the last like 6 months, I'll tell you that much. But I had a dream last week.
Yeah,
I sent you like a 2 a.m. voice note because I was like, I had a dream where the ninjas danced out of my new apartment, and then they they beamed up into a UFO and shoot it off.
Well, the ninjas are beautiful, and I hope they never completely leave my life. And if that's something you want, then I also hope they never completely leave your life, because severing our attachments to the external is really the only way to live in a completely free way, you know. And I think the ninjas, although they do come and go, I think
they come and go.
Inviting them into our lives, you know, with stealth, will keep us more free, more able to connect with who we are, not as an ego, but as, you know, a participant in the dance of life.
But you're talking about an ego death.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we've all. Do you think that that's the metaphor from that tale? The assassination is the assassination of your ego.
That's part of it, the ego death. But there's another part too, because the ninjas, once they sever the attachments, they take everything. They take the house. The ninjas let you live with them. Like they still let you live there. And you'll never be a ninja, but they let you train with them. So, you know, there's a spiritual cultivation that happens once the ninjas have come through. That's my metaphor, and I like it very much.
Excellent.
Yeah,
all right,
thanks.
well, we've been talking for like a good 20, 25 minutes. I'm going to put the ad break in here. I'll be right back. All right, ad break. I got to pay for all this damn coffee I'm drinking and tea I'm spilling. What's up, art lovers? It's me, Zenobia Darling. Did you know I'm more than just a drag rock star? I'm also a very accomplished painter photographer, and you can check it all out on ZenobiaDarlingCreative.com. Sponsored by the Harford County Cultural Arts Board, my blog, #RockstarLife, the arts blog. It explores all my creativity right when it crashes into local culture. Explore my neo-expressionistic fine art, my editorialized goth photography, and this is the best part. You can buy my original paintings, and you can spruce up your boring-ass walls, because every wall needs some glittering Zenobia Darling on them. So go check out Zenobia Darling Creative. The link is in the episode description. Ooh, what's up, Glamazons? It's Zenobia Darling. And you know my rock stardness doesn't just happen, right? It's crafted to perfection at Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Let me spill my secret. Abby, my badass stylist, is the mastermind behind my iconic glittering blonde mohawk. Whether you want to spike it up, smooth it out, dye it a killer shade, or just add that extra edge to your hair, the crew at Odyssey have the magic to make you feel like the superstar you truly are. And it's not just about hair. They keep my nails sharp, my skin polished, and every visit is an absolute blast. And here's the best part, my darlings. Odyssey isn't just about looking fierce. It is a safe space where us LGBT folks can feel right at home, shining as our truest selves. So if you're ready to live your own #rockstar life and embrace your creative spirit, get yourself to Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Tell them Zenobia sent you and show the world how fabulous us rock stars look. And you never know, you might run into yours truly. The link to book your visit to unlock your fabulosity is in the episode description. Hey there, ghost-loving rebels. It's Zenobia Darling, your paranormal punk rock queen. We premiered my newest art film, Ethereal Anarchy, Zenobia Darling's Haunted Revolution, on November 1st with my opening reception of my immersive art exhibition, The Paranormal Realm Beyond the Lore. Let me tell you, Part 1 of this film captured one of the most profound paranormal experiences I've ever had, and it was met with roaring applause and accolades. And yes, we filmed it in true punk rock fashion to bring you even more content. But Huns, the revolution is just getting started, and we need you to bring part 2 to life. We have so much more content from part 1 that we want to include, plus we're actively filming for part 2. So we're pushing paranormal storytelling to the edge in true aspirational punk rock fashion. Your support fuels every haunting moment of this journey. From ghost hunting gear to fair crew pay, every dollar you contribute keeps things spooky and queer just the way it should be. Join the Haunted Revolution. You can find the link to our GoFundMe in the episode description and help us raise the dead and the funds.
The what?
The ad break. I gotta pay for my bills. No, we're talking. We're talking.
Oh, blabbity.
All right, so we're back. What time is it?
4:42.
Sweet. All right, let's get into female trouble.
Yeah.
So I took you to, it was Queerscape last year, so you really got to see like good Baltimore drag.
Yeah, but the first time I saw drag wasn't with you. Like I've seen drag before. I've seen drag in Iceland.
Was that the first time you saw Baltimore drag with me?
No, I'm sure. I mean, I don't remember any explicit times, but I'm pretty sure I've seen Baltimore drag before.
Okay. Well,
but
female trouble is straight up Baltimore drag.
That was the most Baltimore drag that I've seen, you know.
So like, what are your overall thoughts of the movie? You liked it.
Yeah, it was, you know, there's no one to look up to. You know, there's no redeeming storyline.
Well,
there's just like the spectacle and watching it unfold in a very like not quite predictable because it's totally unpredictable, but in a way like, wow, I'm really glad I try to be a good person because like this shit is gross,
But you see where it's funny. You know where that comes from? Because I made you watch Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
So the same theatrics that work in Vanderpump Rules are at work in that movie.
Yeah, but this movie came first, though.
This movie totally came first. But this movie, it goes back to ancient Greece. It's Aristotle. He said, when two enemies do monstrous deeds to each other, it reads as comedy, not tragedy. Or if you had two good people doing it, it would be a tragedy.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
You can have two ugly people doing ugly things to each other, and it's a comedy.
It's funny.
Wow.
So that's why it's like funny that you picked up on that, because I'm like, that's exactly the theatrics that work in that.
Huh.
So are you like inspired by Divine?
Well, I'm just inspired more about the artistic expression of early film. I've never really been exposed to it, and I think with like longer frames, more modest set designs and more like authentic action interactions, I think that like probably in terms of amateur work, there's some space to explore that, especially for like a young hip artist like Derek Pence.
Who's Derek?
Oh, excuse me. I'm speaking of ghosts. The ninjas.
Ooh, we're in the UFO.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's good. Do you see where Zenobia is directly inspired by a lot of that?
Yeah. Divine is definitely taken. I mean, and a lot of drag people have obviously taken some of their culture from that movie.
Well, I mean, that movie also inspired most of drag culture today, because Dragula, when you audition for Dragula, they're having you do that.
You mean the Rob Zombie film? Dragula.
No, Dracula it's a drag competition show for like drag queens like me.
Oh, well, Rob Zombie's way cooler.
No, well, you haven't.
Okay, I got
you haven't seen Dragula yet.
That's fair.
So Dragula, their drag principles are horror, filth, glamour, and trash.
Yeah.
That's all stuff you love.
Yeah, surely. It sounds like where I've gotten like my past 8 girlfriends from. For sure.
Well, we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. We don't need to go back over that one.
Well, I mean, no one's Zenobia Darling though. She entrances you with.
Oh, you listen to you.
Not you, but she entrances everybody with her magic.
Yeah. She entrances, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
So, like, what was your favorite parts?
I enjoyed it. It was stomach. It was definitely like, ooh, man. I enjoyed the costume designs. That was really fun.
You like the mohawk. You love my mohawk. Cool. And I'm like, you love the mohawk.
Man, you really bring it home. So I loved the costumes. And I also really enjoyed the it seemed like I was like I didn't like the main characters, but also everybody else was a fucking idiot too, you know?
You can't like any of them.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is like very real about what it's like sometimes going through life.
It's a lazy Susan of awful. You go to reform and you're like, oh, that person's horrible. And you're like, well, this person's awful.
Yeah, lazy Susan of awful for sure. So I found that like to be pretty interesting, especially like when they put the woman in the bird cage. That was pretty funny. And then when they cut off her hand and then give her a hook, that was like pretty funny. Then when they called the young daughter, I think I can say this because I'm directly quoting. Can I say the R word?
Yeah.
When they kept telling the daughter she was retarded, like that was so awful, so evocative of more primitive times, but funny too.
Yeah, because she's like, Taffy, the reason you don't think you're retarded is because you're retarded.
and then eventually, of course, she's the character I most identified with. The one who was retarded.
You would because
she joins Hare Krishna's, and she's like, I found my consciousness. Krishna is Hare Krishna, and then she gets killed, choked out by her mother,
who's dressed in that scene is what inspired Disney's Little Mermaid's Ursula.
Yeah, very.
So she got choked out by a fucking
Ursula,
by a Disney villain.
Yeah.
So good. I could see you being Taffy.
Who's who do you think I am? I mean, no need to superimpose these limits upon ourselves, but you definitely have some divine energy in Zenobia.
She is queen.
Yeah.
I would love to meet. We had to go to her grave.
Oh, she's passed?
She died in like the 80s and she's buried in Towson.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to go visit her. You were like being sucked in by the screensaver on the TV.
Yeah, well, it's very, people at home can't see it, but it's like riding through the matrix of psychedelia in a spaceship. It just keeps transforming. And so I just guess as I'm
we
talking,
have not done any
watching.
drugs.
No, I don't do.
I don't either. I don't either. We also we're not riding on any magical things.
No. Although this visual definitely makes it seem like I could be.
Yeah.
Screensaver.
It's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
So like, let's talk about psychedelics.
I mean,
I knew that was going to throw you for a winger.
As a public educator, I don't know anything about psychedelics.
I don't either. I don't do drugs. I don't do psychedelics.
Yeah. I stay away from anything that's not, state sponsored, to be honest. I look for state-sponsored fun, going to my local McDonald's and ordering a Whopper and fries.
I want to microwave you some chicken and tap water.
Man, that sounds like so state-approved.
Yeah. Get some government cheese.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of government cheese?
Oh, my God. This sounds like two things that I both disgusting.
You're literally going to throw up when I tell you it.
Yeah, why are you going to... Okay, let's follow.
So Ronald Reagan, when they were trying to do away with like welfare and stuff in the 80s, he made something called government cheese, which was processed American cheese.
Wait, but what do you mean processed American cheese is processed.
Yeah, but it's like ultra processed American cheese.
I heard something
that was
funny.
Self-stable. You didn't have the refrigerator, and they would send it to people.
Food is food. An apple is food. A carrot is food. But once a food becomes a product, it becomes the excrement of a machine. So really what most people are eating is machine poop. Like for real. Yeah. So that's your cheese. Your.
So I mean, I'm not a vegan. I'm definitely exploring veganism again. I definitely eat vegan when I'm around you.
That's true.
I definitely get the vegan options.
Vegan options. I cook bomb ass nowadays.
No, you do. You're a good cook.
Yeah.
You're kind of turning into a housewife.
It's true.
I love it.
Thanks.
I love it, especially your new house. So what's your favorite vegan recipes?
Really, lately, last night I made vegan carrot lox. So good. So I put some carrot. I took a baking dish and I layered it with salt on the bottom, put carrots in it. And then I put salt over top of that and I roasted it for an hour on like 475 real high. And then I took it out and I sliced it into thin strips. And then I marinated it in soy sauce with some seaweed.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so it began to take a lox flavor on. And so I made a lox bagel today. So good. But lately I've been really into different Asian stir fries. Mm-hmm. Such an easy, delicious way to cook and to get lots of vegetables in. And then that also helps me because over the weekend I can make huge batches of rice.
You can food prep.
Yeah, food prep, dice the onion, chop the onion.
Well, you're also this because I always found this shocking. You're a big Chipotle person.
Yeah, I am, but I haven't eaten Chipotle in like 3 months, I'd say.
What's your Chipotle order?
Well, I mix it up a little bit, but here it basically is. There's always rice. It could be brown or white.
See, I don't do rice. I don't like rice.
And then I get beans. Usually both kinds, and if
the
they
pinto and the black,
and sometimes they're real. The fajitas are not good. Sometimes it's like the bottom, and then I don't get it when that happens.
The fajitas,
I get the fajitas. I get that thrown on, and then I sometimes get the sofritas, the tofu scramble, which is spicy. It's good, but sometimes I get guacamole instead. Sometimes I get both, which is an upcharge, and then I get the pico de gallo, the hot salsa, the lettuce, and I ask for the dressing because I don't know if the dressing is so good.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I always get dressing when I go there.
Yeah, and so that's like filling, and then and then also like I don't have to deal with guilt because how many vegetables did I just eat? Boom, 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 like 5 vegetables in one meal.
You're like supercharged.
Like all this fiber. Like other Americans, they're having trouble getting their fiber in. Not me.
So you're pretty regular, we can say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a good indicator of health, Things like spinal flexibility, pelvic floor strength, and regularity of bowel movements, indicators of biological health. These are important as we move through our lives to recognize that people who might be the same biological age are not the same what is the opposite people who are the same quote unquote age are not the same biological age.
Oh, no. Well, you know how many people are chronically constipated?
Yeah, man. And respectfully, we're in a health pandemic, that we can't really begin to get a grip on, like we are so far removed from our potential as individuals and as a species. And I say that not to make anyone feel badly, but to just like highlight, the desire and the availability to calibrate onto a correct, healthy path, because we can do it, All it takes is a little bit of honesty, a little bit of bravery, and a little bit of discipline, And I think for me in my life, I've always done it almost the laziest way possible. You know what I mean? Like I've always been like, what's the most easy, lazy way to be healthy? Go
to Chipotle and get it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Chipotle is like pretty decent.
Yeah, it's better than most
Panera. Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. And Panera is better than a lot of others. Like the layers of go
to Arby's.
Yeah, Arby's. Yeah, now we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
God, get some microwave bagged meat that's been frozen. Ugh. So like before you were vegan, like what type of what was like a good meal for you?
I mean, before I was vegan, I had been cutting back on meat for some time, and I had gotten really into. That was when I got into Chipotle, so I started exploring Chipotle. Although
was this when you were in Boston?
No, this is when I was in Abingdon.
Okay.
I would go to Chipotle and I would get like the meat stuff, and then I transitioned to vegetarian. Still got cheese, and then I went, and then I'd also go to Sizzling Bombay.
Oh, best place ever! Just went there this weekend.
Such a regular stop. Early on, I mostly ate out. Now I mostly cook.
Yeah,
I think it's way healthier, way easier.
It's less expensive.
Tasty. Yeah, for sure. Like it checks all my boxes, especially once I food prep. But early on, it was Chipotle, Indian food, Chipotle, Indian food, Chipotle, Indian food, and then I'd mix it up with like an apple and peanut butter. That was a big thing.
Acai bowls?
No, I never got into that. I did get into a space where I would used to get like cans of anchovies and eat them straight up.
Okay.
Like a gangster.
Like Melvin.
Yeah, like Melvin for real.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my God, this is so good. I just love getting you talking.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
I do. Like
that's
I'm
sweet.
Just like, we talk about female trouble, but I'm like, I'm just going to little poke Davey Calico's brain and get him talking.
Yeah. I don't mind talking about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do I think? Where do I'm interested. This whole vegan thing is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I just think it is.
What about it interests you?
I just like it. I do feel better when I eat it.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people think that like there has to be one reason that somebody went vegan, and I get it because almost everybody grows up not being a vegan. Almost everybody grows up eating meat.
The
and
other
cheese.
caveat to this is you get the annoying vegans who make it a fucking personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And use it to mask an eating disorder.
With respect, yeah, for sure. With respect to all people out there looking to, spread a message. A lot of the messages that we spread are spreading to cover up our own wounding. And veganism definitely is one that can be used to do that. It's just that for me, at this point in my life, I don't even really, promote it too much because it's unequivocally a better way to eat. Like all the lifestyle diseases, all the, they all go down when we eat vegan food. And you can say we should have a little bit of meat. Maybe, I don't know, like how little should we have? How ethical is it? But, heart disease goes down, dementia goes down, diabetes goes down, cancer goes down. These are the killers, how many more years of, a healthy life will we have by making this sacrifice? And it seems so big for someone who doesn't do it. But when we break it down to smaller steps and connect with community, when you hang out with me, it's a lot easier to do it. Right. So, there's the big thing about health, and that's the big thing for me. There's also sort of a social justice thing about it. There is sort of the idea that these animals can't consent to whatever's going on. And when we put capital and money and economics into it, then the living beings are going to get the short end of the stick.
Oh, 100%.
They're going to be the ones, living in their own feces.
Well, that's the thing with me is I'm all about okay, the animal lives a good life, has a bad day, because it's going to happen in the wild. But it's so hard to find places that do that.
Yeah, it's literally I know one place in this area, Broomspoon. That's it, And I'm sure there's others that I don't mean to get into that. But people say, and that's my big MO, because I don't think we can just go from meat eating society to vegan society. I think really would help us to say, what would sustainable agriculture look like? What would sustainable food sources look like?
Yeah.
How can we move from there? And the truth is, to move from there, people are going to eat a lot less animal products, because it takes a lot of work to raise animals, to impregnate animals, to milk animals, to slaughter animals.
We have 2 cats together.
Yeah, that's
that's a lot to raise.
Yeah, man.
How is baby Rada?
She's doing so much better. Before I moved out of the Havre, there are fleas,
and there's a mold issue.
And there's mold. And both me and Rada, we had our skin breakout. It was rough,
Well, I still laugh about that picture.
And so me and baby Rada, our skin was wrecked. But when we moved out into the new house, cleaned up, our skin started healing immediately, and we've been doing really good. Baby Rada's been doing really good.
Am I her favorite?
No.
You're her favorite.
Yes.
But I mean, last night when I walked in,
yeah, she loves you, but also because you cater to her little princess complex. She loves everybody too. She loves Steven.
No, that's true. She does, but she really lights up to me.
No, it's true. Absolutely, you're such a great cat.
And Krishna, he's warming up to me.
Krishna, he's a slow dude. He's slow burn, but his focus, his integrity.
He's my little storm cloud.
He was in bed last night, and I held him and squeezed him like a giant teddy bear. What a sweet dog.
Yeah, Melvin would be out, but he's not feeling well.
Yeah.
And if Melvin goes, I'm going to need baby Rada for a little bit.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to need it. So what do you have coming on? What do you have going on? Are you doing stand-up? Are you doing poetry?
I really have. I've moved back from some of that stuff. I think because
you're not in Havre anymore.
Yeah.
You're 20 minutes up the road. So
yeah. So let me just process that. So really, I've stepped back from. I still write poetry, and one of the ladies, she invited me to. She said she has a new spot for poetry, and she asked me to come. But part of me wonders, does she just want me to come because I'm the only guy who still goes? Is it that hostile of an environment that I've just become the token guy who does poetry? And if so, do I want to continue that? Because my poems aren't really. I mean, some of them are received really well, but what am I doing?
But your poetry is talking about your experience, and you have dated some absolute whack jobs.
Yeah, which reflects who I am.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that have caused you some pain, and you're talking about that from your perspective.
Yeah,
and I think the people who get it, but I will say there is a lot of man shaming.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people think because I've interacted because in the same way that I've interacted with a certain profile of women, and that's given me certain woundings. Some of these women who honestly oftentimes are more masculine in nature, more assertive, more bossy, more critical, they attract certain types of men who will be dishonest, who might be manipulative, who might be unreliable, and then they ascribe this to all men, but I know lots of really great guys, what I mean? They're out there, nobody's really stupid enough to believe that men are somehow, biologically inferior to women, and vice versa. No one actually believes it. Well, maybe some people do, but screw those people. No one believes the other way either. But, when I'm in the space and I'm talking about how, these stereotypically feminist ideals have impacted me as a man, in my experiences, I think that can, raise some eyebrows, But
you want to write a poem about
healthy femininity, you know what I mean? What does it mean to nurture,
And that's not to say a healthy feminine couldn't even embody healthy masculine qualities too.
Well, again, like I said from the beginning, like all humans have the spectrum, male and female, the femininity and masculinity.
And in a lot of ways, even that whole toxic masculine and toxic feminine duality is just a fucking tool, to keep people bickering instead of being like, what is a healthy human being? And what is a healthy relationship?
Yeah.
Let's deconstruct it a little bit, take some personal responsibility and go about our way.
Yeah, because I feel like with you, I definitely think I brought out some of your feminine sides.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like you're definitely finding that balance within you.
Yeah.
I still want to put you in drag though.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, I don't know how well I do in heels. So,
well,
yeah. And yeah,
I can already see it. What do we say your drag name was?
I don't think we
wasn't it like Chelsea Darling or something? All I know is she's like an East Baltimore trashy goth witchy stripper porn star.
She's every woman I've ever looked for.
She's a fuck doll.
Yeah.
You would be fun in drag.
Yeah, I think I'm fun out of drag too, but I think I'd be fun in drag as well.
We got to get you in drag. Okay. Zenobia Darling's sister.
There was a time that I was planning on doing a stand up in drag. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I do remember that. That would be funny. I want to get Stony in drag too.
Stony in drag. That would be good. I don't know.
He's coming on the podcast tomorrow.
Oh, isn't that his third time?
That's like his eighth time.
See, my heart comes out right now. You just think he's cooler than I am. You think he's cooler than you think I'm cool.
I think you're so cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I think I'm cool too.
Dude, you're like one of my best friends.
Yeah, ditto. You're
my brother.
Yeah.
We might have other fun brother stuff, but
and speaking of which, of other things coming up, I've got a big housewarming in April, so anybody who knows me, who has good relations with me, there's just one or two people I think who I would accept this from. Please get at Derek or me, to come join me in my housewarming party in early April.
So what's your address?
Get out of here, man.
All right, so wrapping up, let's throw you a winger question.
Okay, sounds good.
So what are your thoughts on trade relations in the Western African coast right now and the rise of piracy and on the high seas?
Well, blobbity blobbity, Trump blobbity blobbity, the Democrats blobbity blobbity.
That's one thing I will say about you is that you really... how to how to tune out from all the craziness right now.
Yeah, that's valid. One of my favorite rappers, Tim Holland, he once said, "It doesn't matter who you vote for, the government will always get in."
And you are your own personal governor.
Yeah, absolutely. You feel my vibration. And I don't say that to take away. Was that?
I do feel your vibration.
Thank you. I don't say that to take away from any of the wounds that people have surrounding that. They're very real wounds. I'm sorry for your wounds, whether you voted red or blue. We're all suffering. And, the media and the dualities will spin that into a spectacle and keep people up in their heads, stressed out, And so I think the first order of business is regulating the nervous system and not getting so triggered by Trump or the Democrats or women or men, just being like, okay, cool, I'm safe here.
So do you see the parallels with female trouble and today's society when it comes to that stuff?
Yeah. But I don't know if I'm I'll tell you who I am. I'm a person who's had severe wounding from women. And when I see that female ego stuff, I get the messages saying.
No, but do you also see the other, the violent for fame implication?
The what?
How there's that, to be famous, you need to be violent.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And that kind of
think about that
the kind of spectacle of violence that plays out in female trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
How that plays in now.
Yeah, that's so real. And that's a big part of what mobilizes this political theater. The spectacle, the sensation seeking. I can't believe what's going to happen next. And it's everything that's happening is happening, and it couldn't happen any other way. So we should probably breathe and relax our bodies so that we can make good decisions for our health.
Deep belly breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth so you don't go psychotic.
That's right. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth and breathe down low into your belly
your belly button are a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm. All right, so where can we find you?
Davey Calico on Facebook, Davey Calico on Instagram. And tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be having a conversation about starting a web page up. Which will probably have something to do with Davey Calico.
Good. So probably this
brand.
episode won't be out. It probably won't be out until you get the website won't be up for probably a few weeks. This will come out next week.
The website probably won't be up to
July.
So,
if you follow on social media, you'll find it.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So do you have any last minute words of wisdoms?
I would say, I do actually. I would say, keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth, breathe into your belly, and look around and check in to make sure everything's safe right now. And if it is, then like a million blessings to you. And if it's not, then I suggest you run.
Yeah. All right, dude. This was great. Thanks for spending. We had a chill Sunday today.
Yeah, we did, man.
I love you so much.
I love you.
You're my best friend.
Thanks, bro. You're my best friend.
Yeah. Many more times. All right. Peace out, guys.